When it's Friday, here on WTV, something exciting is about to happen, and it always happens. Welcome to Friday with Mr. B. My name is Johnson Mwakazi, and thank you for being here, because your life is going to be changed. Not so that you get more money, no, so that you are able to live in a country where you will be appreciated for who you are, and you will be able to give your full support and be able to actually bring out the beauty that is in you. Friday with Mr. B, Mr. Beeden, a journalist of over 30 years, who is saying, you know what, as long as I am here, I will contribute to the development of the Kenyan society, and not only contribute myself, but also cause the whole Kenyan population to believe and know that they have something to contribute. Mr. B, it's always an honor. Asante sana. Wow. Mr. B, a time as this is November. Back in the day, in November, one memorable moment in your life at this particular time, maybe perhaps close to the elections or towards the celebrations, a particular thought, experience that you had back in the day that you'd want to share with us.
Yes, I can remember a time like this, but it's quite way back, 1988.
1988.
Yeah. And it was now getting to the cold month, which is July. And that is when the system decided this man should go to the prison. So I wondered why, when it was cold, like
Cold, man. Go to the prison. My.
And then I stayed there towards the end, like now this time. They are in committee. And one of the things that was going in my mind is that even there, I was told that I needed to pay some 3,000 as a kind of a bribe, so that I can have a bit easy work to do there, and I get a bit reasonable food. And I was told, you must remember, this is prison. And you can just die like that, like a fly. So you better listen to what we are telling you.
So basically they were saying the 3,000 could make your life better.
Better. Then I thought, 3,000? I cannot miss that money. And that is when actually my faith went down. You know, like when you put cotton in a glass like this and you press and it's going down. But when it was about to hit the bottom, it became compact, so it could not go any further.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, there was still some little faith there. And then I looked at him and I said, I am sorry, I cannot do what you are requesting. And I'm happy for you to give me whatever work, whatever food, because I cannot sacrifice what had brought me here on the altar of my tummy. And so, and I was about, you know why it's so important is that I was about to break and give in. Because 3,000 was very little. But something, the conscience was telling me that you are here for standing for greater things, are you just going to sacrifice them on that altar of this tummy? And after one day, you still need food. Even after you leave prison, you need food. So I always remember that moment.
Wow, you know, Mr. B, you're bringing in a very key point here. That this idea of corruption, this philosophy of corruption, has permeated the Kenyan society,
Yeah.
even in prison.
Yes.
So there is really no place we can say there is no corruption.
There is no place, and this is why you have heard me say, it is hard to say this animal is there. Because the moment you are saying it is there, out there, it's actually inside us. This is why I like to compare it sometimes with venom. This is like venom, which it's in this water, because see, this water was in a way contaminated, yeah, and then I see that water in the pool, and I think it's the one that is contaminated. So it has been there, and it will require very, very high commitment than we think.
Very high commitment. Just yesterday, a team of diplomats decided to go and have a meeting with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The team was being led by US Ambassador Robert Godek. And they put on the table their concerns in regards to corruption in Kenya. And they also made a couple of commitments, including not giving visas to particular government officials who have been mentioned in regards to corruption. Of course, Mr. B, this is good news, so to speak, that the diplomats are coming in and saying, you know what, we want to also be part of the fight against corruption. Perhaps you could just take us a bit back. Has this ever happened before? Or what has changed so far?
Well, diplomats have always gathered together to say something. And this is good news, what they said, no doubt. Because we want people who can join with the Kenyans to fight this corruption. But these statements which come and people have a press conference and they have spoken, until it is taken to practical levels, yeah? So, apart from that statement and visas, yeah, what is it people can do to fight corruption, or you can support to do that, something. But there are times, when you look back, you find they have also been selective. Selective in that they decide, like Moi was there for 24 years, and they wouldn't really talk about corruption. And that's where corruption took place. Even what we see now is a joke. Because that time no media could even report.
Sure.
We tried ourselves to report, but at a very, very high risk. So, why didn't they that time come out? And I remember personally going to Deputy Ambassador McLachlan, the British High Commission, and I told him about the corruption that was taking place. And he said, and we were great friends, and he said, Bidan, we British, we like quiet diplomacy. Quiet diplomacy. So we can go privately and tell Moi about that corruption. So that is the inconsistency I have seen in these diplomats. First, their own countries have been the greatest impoverishment of Africa. You have seen Buhari from Nigeria pleading, please, all the money hidden in these countries of the West, Switzerland leading the pack, other smaller places like Isle of Man and other, and they have gained from trillions pumped into their economy. And their people can now borrow money at even 2%, even, less. And here you can borrow money probably at 27%, and that money is there in these capitals from Africa and from other developing world. Now, if they are serious, let them first admit that we are part of this corruption.
So it's not a holier than thou
attitude. That those guys there called Kenyan, they are corrupt. But we and our countries are okay. That is not true. So they need to confess, like what Paul Muite was demanding when he had this case of Mau Mau, that the British need to apologize first. So they need to apologize to Africa and say, actually, we are part of this corruption. And immediately, there is mechanism to bring that money back. And we will never need money from aid from any country. That's really, and even ourselves, Johnson, this, not a single of us can say that only those people who are corrupt there and not ourselves. Probably you would know whether this glass I'm holding, this person, when he brought this, paid a bribe to KRA.
Sure.
So I could be holding a glass that is here because of corruption. You really don't know. When the corruption reaches that level, it is almost like the air we breathe. Yeah? If the air has pollution, you cannot say, I have my air here, and there is this boundary. So the other air only goes there. No.
Right.
So we need to come to that level. I know this is a subject we have discussed and discussed, but this is not where you say, oh, Committee of Parliament is calling people. Who tells that committee is not full of corruption? Who knows that that is not one way of getting money from these guys who are called there? And then you negotiate, so that nothing happens to you. So it's corrupt people trying other corrupt people. So they should not, because these institutions, like now those committees, are also taking that holier than thou position, just like ambassadors. So we come and accept that we have really participated in this destructive practice, that has robbed patients their medicine. It has robbed our young people opportunity, equal opportunity for employment. It has robbed us even infrastructure, and so your car has to keep on being repaired because of those bad roads. It has really robbed us almost everything. And as a nation, we need to come and say, first, a day of prayer. Eh? Church even cannot come and say, Kenya is really corrupt.
Because even in church there is a problem with corruption.
Even church there is problem. So we can say because we are all corrupt. Let's come for a national repentance.
All of us.
All of us.
Repenting.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. B, before we take a short break, let's give them credit.
Yes,
at least they're doing something.
Certainly.
The diplomats have come together.
Yes.
Do you think, after such a statement from diplomats, will it have any kind of effect, especially with our government officials?
Maybe if they are like me, it won't. Because if Rwanda tells me that it's not going to give me the visa, do I really care to go there? And even now, myself, to be honest, I don't care to go to any capital in the world. I'm just happy and satisfied being in Kenya. And there is no time I will feel I must go to UK or I must go to US.
Mm-hmm.
Even there are times I have been invited, and I have told them, unless you go and queue at 5 for the visa, I'm not going to queue to get a visa to go anywhere.
We want to come back and talk about that more. Of course, all respects to Rwanda and all the countries. That's Mr. B for you. We want to come back and really look at, what are the tangible ways that perhaps the international community can put on the, or rather implement, set on the table that will change the way we've been doing business in regards to corruption. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Remember, send in your comments. Would really love to read some of them. Remember, this is Friday with Mr. B, talking to Mr. B, and some of the things that he talks about really belong to him, and he's the only one who can talk about them. But we'll come back. Don't go away.